This is Born Strategist. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the Trespasser sidearm. Now, just in case for those of you that don't know, this sidearm was accidentally released prior to the Rise of Iron's release. And no matter how Bungie wants to say otherwise, rest assured it was accidental. And trust me when I say that if they could have charged you for something, rest assured they would have. Okay, this was not a free weapon. You were never meant to get this, but because of a patch bug, you managed to go ahead and get it early. So good for you, bad for Bungie. But having said that, let's go ahead and talk about this particular sidearm. Now, this sidearm has a great deal of potential, but unfortunately, there are a lot of issues in regards to its performance. Now, the one notable thing that I encountered when I was utilizing the weapon was its lack of range. Now, granted, you do have a couple of range options, but even with those maxed out, you're going to have a tendency to get killed by other faster time to kill weapons, specifically shotguns that manage to close the gap. And that's unfortunate because this sidearm does have one thing going for itself, which is it is the most stable sidearm in the game, meaning that it's incredibly accurate and has minimal recoil. The problem, however, is the lack of range. So, in order to make this weapon a more formidable option, then Bungie would have to increase the range stat. And that's something I'm definitely in favor of. Grant, we don't want it to be like the old school hand cannons of yesteryears, to where it's like the last word of the thorns, where they can just go ahead and kill you across the map like it was nothing. But we want something, or we should have something, that has the ability to be accurate and a formidable option in the Crucible. And that's what you have here with the Trespasser. Because even though it doesn't have the range that it should, it is an incredibly stable option and you can still make it work. However, you need to know that you gotta maintain your distance from shotgun users. And that may not necessarily be the easiest thing when you have people running around with maxed out agility, or maybe they have blank, or whatever it may be, but it's still doable, but it's difficult. And when you're playing against people that are, very familiar with the meta and they know how to play aggressively, then that's where the Trespasser is going to have some problems. However, it may be a good option in 1v1 encounters, and if that's the case, go right ahead and use it. Especially if you're going up against people that don't have a shotgun, because then they're not going to have a close range alternative, more likely, that has a similar time to kill. So that's where the Trespasser can come in handy. It's also pretty good in skirmish matches or 3 versus 3 matches, and for that very reason, it could be a very usable option. However, like I said before, the shotgun is something that's going to give you a lot of problems. Since you have a lot of high impact shotguns that have good range, like the Conspiracy Theory D, that means that you're going to encounter some issues when going up against those types of weapons. Now, you could go ahead and try to maintain your distance as much as possible, but sometimes you're going to miss a burst, or you're going to be outside the effective range of your burst, and as a result, you're going to get killed. Now, as I said before, Bungie can remedy this issue by increasing its range. And also, if they can get rid of that, relentless tracker perk, or whatever the hell it's called, that would be awesome too, because that thing is a waste of space, especially on an exotic weapon. Give it something more usable, maybe like crowd control or something. It's got to have a better option. I can't stand that perk. That perk is essentially useless. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it does have some, benefit, but it is very, very, very useless in most situations. Okay, so for that very reason, get rid of it. Give the players something more beneficial. And I'm not suggesting to make this weapon overpowered, because you have to be very, very careful when balancing this thing. Because if you give it too much range, then it's going to make other weapons, such as assault rifles, irrelevant. Okay, and you don't want that to happen. Now, having said that, if it were to gain a range increase, and it were to get rid of Relentless Tracker and gain something like Crowd Control or whatever it may be, then it could be a more usable option, and it could weasel its way into the meta, which is what you want, especially for an exotic sidearm. Now, will they manage to actually buff this weapon? We'll see. But as of right now, it is still a usable option. I just wouldn't suggest it if you're going up against a very competitive team that knows how to utilize snipers and shotguns to the best of their ability. With that said, thanks for watching. With more objective reviews, strategy guides, commentaries, and more. stay tuned to this channel.